happens if you miss your quarterly tax payments? In today's video, we are going to discuss what happens if you miss your quarterly tax payment. Is it a big deal or does it even matter? My name is Nicole. I'm one of the tax advisors at Robert Hall & Associates. Let's get into the video. Please don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. Why do we even have to pay quarterly tax payment? What are quarterly tax payments? Who has to pay quarterly tax payments? So many questions. Okay, quarterly tax payments are something that the IRS and the state ask you to pay when you owe. Nobody wants somebody to owe and pay a lump sum at the end of the year. They would much rather you make small payments throughout the year. Okay, think about it. Somebody owes you $12,000. Would you rather they pay you $12,000 all at once at the very end of the year? Or would you just rather them give you $1,000 once a month? It's much easier, and you know for sure that you're more likely to receive the money if they're paying $1,000 per month. It's the same thing with the IRS and the state. And thus, they have people do quarterly tax payments. Quarterly tax payments are estimated payments. They're estimating what your tax is going to be, what your tax liability is going to be, and how much you are going to owe. People with W-2 jobs can have quarterly tax payment, people with S-corps, people with C-corps, any type of structure. It's all about whether or not you owe at the end of the year. All right, let's break this down with an example. Let's do some easy math and have some easy numbers here. Let's imagine we're making $100,000. Our federal tax liability is $12,000. State tax is going to be $6,000. We're doing withholdings, meaning we have a W-2 job and they're withholding tax every month. Let's just imagine they withhold a total of $10,000. So I owe $2,000 when filing. Now, in reality, that's not the biggest of deals, but the feds will ask me to make quarterly tax payments. They're going to take that $2,000 and they're going to divide it up over 4 quarters. And so for the following year, I should be making about $500 payments to the feds every quarter. These are estimated tax payments. The same thing would apply if I had my own business. If I have my own business, where am I doing withholdings? How am I making payments in advance? I'm making estimated payments. If I have my business and my business is showing $100,000 of profit, we're not going to get into self-employment tax or payroll taxes, but let's just talk about the income tax. My business is showing $100,000 profit. I have a $12,000 tax liability. I didn't make any withholdings. I didn't do anything. And so I need to take that $12,000 and divide that up over each quarter. If you do not make quarterly tax payments, you will see underpayment penalties. Again, let's go back to that friend that owes us money. Do we want those payments every month, or do we want to chase and hunt them down to get that payment at the end of the year? We'd much rather have them pay once a month. And so the IRS and the state are the same. And they say, hey, if you don't want to pay us every quarter at a minimum, then we're going to put on a little bit of a fee because they pay to hunt you down. And so making your quarterly tax payments is important. Now, there are many penalties that can be assessed to your return when you are filing or when you are paying. We have late payment penalties, we have underpayment penalties, we have non-payment penalties, there's late filing penalties, there's a ton of penalties that can be added to yours. Underpayment penalty is usually because you have a non-W-2 job, so you're not doing any types of withholdings, and you have not made quarterly tax payments. Let's go back to me having my own business. We're forgetting the self-employment and payroll taxes. I have my own business. My business shows $100,000 of profit, and I know I've made an estimate that I'm gonna owe $12,000 in federal tax. So fourth quarter, I go ahead and pay that tax. Am I gonna get an underpayment penalty when I paid my tax in full before the end of the year? I am gonna get that underpayment penalty because they don't want us to wait till the end of the year, even though you did it in fourth quarter. If you do it in third quarter, a full payment, you're still gonna get that penalty. They want that spread out. If you do it all in first quarter, you won't get the penalty because they have the money. They really just want to be ensured that you are going to pay and they don't have to hunt you down. I think we all can understand that. So is it important to make your quarterly tax payments? Yes. Is the penalty crazy high? Not usually. What happens if we underestimate or overestimate? Well, let me explain. You are gonna have to pay a penalty if you do not pay 90% of your current tax or 110% of the previous year's tax, and we end up owing. If you overpay your tax liability because your estimates were a little bit higher than what you actually had, then you will have a refund. If you underpay, depending on how much you underpay, will determine whether or not you get an underpayment penalty. Underpayment penalties can be assessed because of the amount that you paid or the time in which you made that payment. All right, if you guys still have questions or would like a complimentary consultation with me or one of my wonderful colleagues, please hit the link in the description box or go to our website, roberthalltaxes.com. Have a good one.